Worker honeybees are all females. Males do not know how to even feed themselves. And their only reason for being in the hive is for reproducing with the queen. The males do not have a stinger, and they are kicked out of the hive in the autumn, because there are no uses for them. Honeybees are very cleaned out. They want their hive, which they made themselves, hexagon by hexagon, to be immaculately clean. If something dirties their hive, they will immediately get the offense out. The only honeybee in the hive that uses the bathroom inside the hive is the queen. Queen bee never leaves the hive, so her faithful workers get her mess right out. Bees will also make sure that when their time comes, they will die outside of the hive. There is only one queen per hive. The queen lives 2-3 years. The queen is made, rather than born. Worker bees will feed larvae royal jelly for a certain period of time. The royal jelly is secreted through the heads of the worker bees and is fed through their antennas to the larvae. The royal jelly has so many vitamins and nutrients it will allow for the larvae to become queens. Since there can only be one queen per hive, the potential queen bees will fight to the death until there is one queen remaining. Honeybees, like their name implies, are the only insects to make honey. Bumblebees make a honey-like substance, but it tastes nothing like the sweet honey. We know and love. They also make this in very small quantities. Honeybees though make honey in surplus, so beekeepers are able to take a certain amount, without hurting the bees or depriving them of food. Honeybees never sleep. No wonder worker bees have such a short lifespan. Honeybees are the only insects that produce something that humans eat. It is also the only food that never goes bad. Its sugar content is too high, and because it is naturally antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial, anti-everything nasty, which is why it's also such an incredible healer. The honeybee colonies each have a distinct odor, which allows for them to identify the members. Oftentimes beekeepers will need to assimilate colonies. A way to do that would be to place bees from each colony into a paper bag together. The paper bag should have a divider, so each colony stays on its own side. Being in the container together, the smells will mix and they will not be able to recognize the other bees as enemies due to their familiar odor. The queen bee lays up to 2,000 eggs per day. She can also select the gender of the larvae. Most larvae that will be produced will be female. To make 1 pound of honey it would take 556 workers and 2 million flowers. During one collection trip, about 1 ounce of honey is all it takes to give a honeybee enough energy to fly around the world. Although the farthest they usually fly away from their hive is 6 miles. Honey never spoils. No need to refrigerate it. It can be stored and opened indefinitely at room temperature in a dry cupboard due to the high level of fructose. Honey is 25% sweeter than table sugar. Honey is created when bees mix plant nectar, a sweet substance secreted by flowers, with their own bee enzymes to make honey. Bees drop the collected nectar into the honeycomb and then evaporate it by fanning their wings. Honey has different flavors and colors, depending on the location and kinds of flowers the bees visit. Climatic conditions of the area also influence its flavor and color. To keep their hives strong, beekeepers must place them in locations that will provide abundant nectar sources as well as water. Honeybees are one of science's great mysteries because they have remained unchanged for 20 million years, even though the world changed around them. The honeybee's wings stroke 11,400 times per minute. Thus making their distinctive buzz. In the cold winter months, bees will leave the hive only to take a short cleansing flight. Honeybees do not die out over the winter, but reduce numbers by throwing out the old, the weak, and drones. A tight cluster in their hive to keep the queen and themselves warm. They feed on the honey they collected during the warmer months and patiently wait for spring by forming. They may forage on sunny days and collect nectar, and some queens will lay, but less. There are nurse bees work inside the hive. Their job is to make royal jelly, feed and clean the larvae, queen, and drones. House bees clean away the dead, make wax and comb, heat cool the hive, receive nectar and make honey, put it into the comb, sealing it with wax. On average, one bee colony can produce up to 150 kilograms of honey per year. At the peak of the honey gathering season, a strong, healthy hive will have a population of approximately 50,000 bees. Honey is the primary food source for the bee. The reason honeybees are so busy collecting nectar from flowers and blossoms is to make sufficient food stores for their colony over the winter months. Honey contains vitamins and antioxidants, but is fat-free, cholesterol-free and sodium-free.